Hey everybody, welcome back. Saturday night, we gave you our early predictions for UFC 290. Tonight, we are going to give you our final picks. We've watched a lot more tape, so our final picks and which fights we will be betting, what bets, what props, what parlays we like. Before we get into it, I'm just very quickly want to touch on something. We had a contest in the last video. Apparently, I broke the YouTube community guidelines. You can't ask for subscriptions for like a t-shirt or for merchandise or whatever. So I did break the guidelines. I got in trouble over that. They took away 75% of our views for that video. They said they're not genuine views. They're not genuine subscriptions. You can't do this. You can't do that. There are certain rules that you can do them. We will have that in play for the next pay-per-view, UFC 291. I'm still learning about what those guidelines and how this works. We will get that out to you, but you got to give us a week or two on this. So I apologize. It's coming. Don't worry about it. Let's get into this fight card. It should be a pretty fun card. UFC 290. First fight of the night, we got Kirk versus Esteban Ribovics. If you watched the first video a week ago or 5 days ago or whatever, I was on the Kirk side. I liked him because I thought he was a live dog, and he had good value to that pick. If you've been watching the line has tightened dramatically. They're very close now. And now I flipped completely with the odds the way they are now. I flipped. I'm on the Esteban side. I think there is value on him. I do have him in a couple small parlays. Like he's not going to be my make or breaking my night, but I think there is some value on him, and he will be my final pick. What do you think?
Yeah, I was on Esteban, I think, from the get-go. But it was like really wide, and so you had me thinking. So I looked at a few things. My initial thing with Kirk was that he didn't do much, and after looking at the tape, he really doesn't do much, right? So yeah, minus 150 seems like a good bet on him, at least value wise. The way I'm looking at it though, like Camuela, he's lost 3 out of 5 of his things by decision, and the decision prop on this fight is very high. Plus 350, plus 450, either which way you want to go. That's pretty good. It's not bad. I don't see like some explosive craziness happening here. It's a possible sprinkle. So those are a couple things I like. I like Ribovics straight up, and I like decision prop, whichever way you want to go on the fight, are pretty high for those two fighters, to be honest with you.
All right, sounds good. Moving on, we got Saaiman versus Terrence Mitchell. After watching a lot more tape, I feel a lot more confident on the Cameron side. He's a way better striker, way better striker. He does need to control his weapons. He's lost a point in his last 2 fights, so he does need to control those kicks. But honestly, like this really shouldn't even go the distance. Like he probably should knock him out. Now, as far as the playing the bet, this one's the tricky one. He's such a big favorite. I don't like having minus 600s in my parlays. Like there's no value, and you don't want to get busted on them. And then if you're picking by knockout, he's still minus 275.
Yeah.
At least as of earlier this morning, he was minus 275 for a knockout.
Still is.
Yeah. So for me, the fight's a pass. I pick as Cameron by knockout. Just there's no value for me on this fight. What do you think?
There is no value. If you think Mitchell's going to be any durable, there's some value on the decision prop. That's about it. You're looking at plus 500 for Saaiman, and plus 750. But Mitchell isn't going to a decision if he pulls off this upset. So if you like the decision prop on Saaiman plus 500, that's pretty much the only thing I would sprinkle. Even the fight to go to the distance is plus 310. Over 1.5 is plus 115. Maybe that one might there, but you don't know. Simon's probably going to starch this guy. No value.
Interesting thing looking at Cameron's finishes, because he does have a lot of knockouts. They're like almost all in the 3rd round. So maybe that decision prop's not terrible, but honestly, the striking, like the level of striking between them is just so big that I find it, I struggle with it.
Me too, but like plus, I like 1.5 round lines over at plus money, because like shit, like it's only 7.5 minutes. Clinch your butt cheeks for 7.5 minutes and you get plus money. It's crazy, right? So the FanDuel and DK offer the round goes starts round two. Sometimes one of those are plus money. Anything can happen, right? How often does a fight finish in the first round? It's quite uncommon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like that play for sure. Definitely. Moving on, we got Vitor Petrino versus Marcin Prachnio. Nothing's changed here. I mean, Prachnio is a point fighter. He's boring. He's not dangerous. I'm definitely rolling with the 8-0 more dangerous power puncher. Marcin struggled with him in the past. I do have Vitor in a couple parlays. Again, I'm not going to bankroll an early unproven guy, but I feel pretty good about him. I do have him in a couple small parlays, so I do think he wins. I think the knockout's live, but I just have him in a couple small money line parlays. What do you think?
Yeah, I got Petrino all day here, personally. But if you want a hedge bet, Pacquiao is probably not going to knock him out based on that last fight Petrino had in the UFC. There, he actually showed pretty good striking, and it was surprising that fight. I had that fight not going the distance, and it went the distance. So I do think this one actually finishes. But if Pacquiao somehow wins this fight, he's going to win by decision. So if you want to sprinkle plus 600 on Pacquiao by decision, go ahead and do that. But if you're going to do that, you might as well sprinkle Petrino at plus 550. So, because like these decision props are juicy this week, right? So, I don't know. Let's see the plus 1.5, plus 105. Hey, plus 1.5, plus 105. Not bad. We had like on the other fight, plus money at 7.5 minutes. It's pretty fucking good, man.
Yeah, I like that bet a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got Edgar Chairez versus Tatsuro Taira. Once again, Taira, another minus 1,000 favorite. Like, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, I know this kid's good, but man, minus 1,000, like, Jesus Christ. I think he wins. I think he finds the submission, but even at submission, he's minus 300. So it's very, very risky. I don't have a single bet on this fight. Edgar should have the better striking. He doesn't have the greatest takedown defense though. But an Edgar finish, because if he wins, let's face it, if he wins, he's gonna knock Tatsuro out. He's plus 1100. He's plus 1100 if you're looking for some crazy underdog upset here. $10 is gonna pay you 120. But honestly, I don't have a single play on this fight. I think Taira gets the submission. What do you think?
Chairez is Mexican. They're tough son of a bitches, right? The plus 1.5 is plus 100 again on this fight.
What, over 1.5 rounds?
Over 1.5 is plus 100 in this fight.
I don't think Taira's gonna tap him that quick.
No, Taira, like if I want to go look at his record and all that stuff. Taira takes his time. He's a timer. He does it's not submission over position. It's like he gets the guy down, moves the spots, make sure that he secures position before he moves on and moves on and moves on, right? It depends on like how well the other guy kind of defends against it. And Matt, let's be truthful, man. Mexicans fucking are tough fuckers. They're not just gonna go out, man.
So, he won't tap super quick.
no, not he might have to go out to tap. Like, you know, that's the kind of fighters these guys are, right? The hearts of fucking champions, all of them. They're not all amazing, but they do have hearts of champions, man.
Absolutely.
So plus 1.5, over 1.5 is another good one on this one. Sprinkle these, man. At $10 at 1.5, you hit 2 out of 3. Boom. Whatever. I like the over 1.5 for those 3 fights at least.
I can't believe a minus 1,000 is you're getting plus money over, like, that's crazy. That I don't know how I didn't see that either, because I was looking at all these today. That's good eyes, buddy. Good eyes.
Yeah, man. Those look good.
All right, moving on. I think this is actually going to be one of the funner fights of the night. We got Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield. This is the rematch from the controversial draw. Everybody knows Menifield kicked his ass that fight. He lost a point for grabbing the fence, and we ended up with a very controversial draw. Menifield, after dominating the fight, in my opinion, he's coming in as the underdog here. I mean, it's very even, plus 100, but still, you're getting plus money on the guy who whooped his ass last fight. I am on Menifield. I do have him on a few parlays. Again, this is not going to be my big bet of the night, anything like that, but I like the value. I think he can knock out Jimmy Crute. I still think Crute's maybe more well-rounded and probably smarter. But Menifield is usually hard to take down early, and he hits hard. So I do like Menifield to hopefully have better IQ and finish the fight this time. That's how I see it. What do you think?
So this was a pick'em when we originally filmed the first video, and right now while you were talking, Menifield just turned out to be plus 110, right? So money is coming in hard on Jimmy Crute. So I'm going with plus money on this fight. Whichever way the plus money comes out, I'll go that way because it was pretty even the first time around. Menifield actually did get the better of him. I rewatched that fight, but he's so dumb. Such a dumb guy. Not a dumb person, a dumb fighter. Like he does such bonehead things in there. I can't get behind it. Now, plus over 1.5 is minus 120 on this fight. It's sketchy, but if Crute shows the kind of chin he showed against him the first time, and if Menifield is his bonehead to get taken down in the second round, because we'll know Menifield is going to win the first round. At least I think Menifield will win the first round. What happens in the second round? He like auto gasses for some reason. So once he auto gasses, Crute's ground game is actually pretty good. So
well, if you see the gassing coming, you could always live bet the other way, especially if Menifield wins that first round.
He is going to win the first round. At least I think so personally. But yeah, I mean, another either 1.5 or Menifield, over 1.5 for Menifield. Those are my two plays on this. Menifield will be in a few parlays, just YOLO ones because plus 110, you know.
Yeah. So for me, Crute's been starched like really quickly a few times. So I'm not saying that the over is a bad. I'm not saying that.
No, I know for sure.
But I just you're already getting plus money on the guy. I like the plus money.
I get it.
All right, moving on. I think we have another fun fight here, and you know I don't love all the women's fights. This is a fun one. I do like this fight. We got Yasmin Jauregui versus Denise Gomes.
Hold on, I think you missed one. You missed Shannon Ross and had Jesus Aguilar.
Oh, Jesus. I did miss that. Okay. You know what? I went out of order. My mistake. Let's do that. Shannon Ross versus Jesus Aguilar. Nothing's flipped for me here. I still got Jesus. It's more of a not liking Shannon Ross. I don't think he's that good. There's a world where he could fend off the takedowns and probably be a slightly better striker. I got Aguilar one tiny YOLO where you pick 8 fight, like some stupid 7-legger or 8-legger. Honestly, it's a dumb bet where you hit 6 out of the 7 legs and one busts you, and it'll probably be this one that busts me. But yeah, I wouldn't feel confident betting any real amount of money on this fight, but my pick will be Jesus. What do you think?
I'm still sticking with Jesus, but I'm passing on this fight. But I did look at the over 1.5, which seems to be a theme. It's actually minus 160. So Shannon Ross, he has shown durability issues. Yeah, that was his big thing. But they're at featherweight, I think it is, right? So it's durability issues at the lower weight class. But those are from power punches, knockouts. Jesus, everything I've seen, is a grappler. So he's probably going to take his time. So unless Shannon Ross has absolute atrocious grappling, which I don't think he has atrocious grappling, he might be out-grappled here. Over 1.5 on a guy that's not going to push the pace isn't not bad. It's minus 160. I feel like that's not so bad. I think they're featherweights. Someone in the comments can back it up, but I know it's a lower of the weight classes.
Yeah, flyweight.
Yeah, flyweight. So like, man, what the fuck? Over 1.5 minus 160 flyweights? Come on. I like that.
And like considering I don't have a whole lot of confidence in Jesus, like Shannon Ross is not a huge power puncher. So if he wins, it's going to be decision or late. And Jesus, I don't think he's going to get some super fast tap. So I think that's actually, you've talked me out of the Jesus. I would take that bet.
Man, flyweights. I didn't even, it makes it even me more willing to put the over 1.5 on flyweights.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. It's no disrespect to them, but the lower weight classes have less finishing power. Those fights play longer, so that's good value for sure.
Yeah, man.
All right, moving on to the fight I was meant to be talking about. Sorry, we got Yasmin Jauregui versus Denise Gomes. I think this is a very fun fight. Earlier in the week, I told you I really like Denise as the underdog. I straight disclosure, I wasn't fully aware of how good Yasmin was. I have watched tape, hell of a striker. And she, you know what? She can grapple too. So I don't think she's going to be like a Marina Rodrigues who is wicked on the feet, but can be held down all fight. I don't see that happening at all whatsoever. I still do like Denise Gomes as a fighter. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not picking her to win this fight anymore. I'm taking Yasmin. But Denise is going to fight for your money. She's a dog. She's a pit bull. She hits hard. She's going to come to fight. She's not just going to roll over. And I think that she's still dangerous because of that. So I think Denise has one chance here, and I think it's a puncher's chance. She hits hard. There's a chance she catches Yasmin, because Yasmin's last fight there, she was dropped in the first round. Yeah. She was in big trouble, and she came back, which was good. She showed she can recover. She came back and finished with the knockout, finished the girl on the ground and pound strikes, finished it off. But she can be cracked. So Denise has a chance to crack her, or she's going to get outclassed here. And I think, to be honest, I think I see a finish here. So I think one of them is going down, and it's most likely going to be Denise. But because I think one is going down, you're getting minus 125 on a Yasmin finish, or minus 120 on the fight is under 2.5 rounds. So that covers both sides. So you're getting covered on that fluke shot that Denise might catch her with. That's my play for this fight, as I like the under 2.5 plus 120, because Yasmin's a minus 400. I don't like minus 400. I don't like the plus 125 on her to get the knockout. So I like the plus 120. Either side can win under 2.5 rounds. That would be my choice on this fight. What do you think?
Well, I'm not playing her at minus 400 if I'm playing Volkanovski at minus 400. Let's just put it that way, right? She ain't on the same level as Volk or Whittaker, because I'll play those guys at minus 400 because I trust them. I don't trust her. So round 2 or round 3 finish for her, plus 550, plus 900. That's pretty much all I'm going to do if I do play it. A couple sprinkles. That's it. I like the under that you're on, but I won't play her at minus 400. Not yet. Not till she starts starching girls. And if she starts starching girls, then go ahead. Yeah, I'll start playing her, but no, not right now.
10-0, 7 knockouts, and Denise 7-2, 5 knockouts. Like I said, honestly, I think it's a fun fight. I think it is one of the funner women's fights you're going to get to watch. Like, it's not a smoke break fight. It's a fun fight. So I'm looking forward to it. Right. Moving on, we didn't even get to talk about this fight because it wasn't scheduled last video. We got Della Maddelenna versus Jauregui Harrell. I mean, it's nice when you see the 7-0 guy stepping in. You're like, oh, maybe this guy's legit. Take a deeper look into those 7 wins. If you click on the last guy he beat on that record, it's not good. You look at the record before that, it's worse. He's fighting guys with more losses than wins. So those 7 wins are not as good as they look on paper. Now, he's 7-0. He beat them all. But his last fight, he's going 3 rounds with guys who aren't good. Like, straight up, he's going 3 rounds with guys who aren't good. He's a lightweight moving up to welterweight to fight Jack, who's a monster. The only thing Harrell, whatever you say his last name, the only thing he's got going for him is he is a wrestler, and no one's really tested that takedown defense of Jack. But he's a lightweight wrestler. He's not a finisher, and he's not faced this level of competition. I think this is an absolute destruction for Jack Della Maddelenna. To me, it's a question of whether it's first round or second round. So you might get some good odds if you pick him in the second. But all indicators say he's going to probably win this fight quickly. But again, minus 1,000. There's just nothing to play here. Do you see anything worth playing, or do you see anything?
Jack and under minus 1.5 might be the only little same game parlay you can do.
That's still minus 4 something, isn't it?
Oh, is it? No, him to win inside the distance is minus 425. So I'm feeling you should get a little bit better than that for the under 1.5. And I can't do it right now, but that's the only 2 things I like. Should be destruction. The only thing Josiah has going for him is that spear through the side of the LFA cage. So I saw that the other day. It was a good one, but it wasn't even like some powerful, like crazy, like rhino.
That was a cage malfunction more than it was fucking impressive.
It reminded me of Bukauskas and Michailidis when he was leaning up against the cage, and then they stopped the fight because they thought he was like dizzy from like Bukauskas's non-existent power. So yeah, that's all I like. Maddelenna under 1.5.
And to be honest, I was hammering Jack to beat Sean Brady, who's a big, strong wrestler. So how could I not be confident in him in this spot?
Yeah,
So
man.
I think he's 100% safe. Just the value's not there. But Jack's gonna kill this guy. I love Jack. Should be fun. Should be another knockout. But that's what it is. Moving on, we got the last prelim of the night. We got ruthless Robbie Lawler versus Nico Price. Again, he came out today at the press conference. He said, "This is it, guys. This is my retirement fight. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is the last one." Again, we said it last video. We love Robbie. We can't put our money on him. And the funny thing is Nico Price isn't great, but he should beat Robbie Lawler. And honestly, the fight shouldn't go the distance. So do you want to play Nico Price at minus 275? Or do you want to play doesn't go the distance at minus 200? Because then you're safe if Robbie gets a lucky knockout or something like that. That covers you too. I don't think Robbie has gas to go 3 rounds, so I kind of like that play. I could see either or. I'm going back and forth on it. Doesn't go the distance minus 200. Nico Price minus 275. That's how I see this fight anyways. Nico's the pick, probably by knockout. What do you think?
Nico by knockout sucks at minus 115. Nico itself at minus 275 sucks as well. Like what you're saying, minus 210 now, bet 365 is the fight doesn't go. Minus 160 under 2.5. That's pretty good value as well. So I'll go with either one of those. I can even see under 1.5 because I don't see Robbie, like he had a good first round last time and then he came out in that second round and just like shit the bed. So that could happen as well. So the unders is where I'm playing, but I don't trust Nico Price as far as I can throw him.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I like doesn't go or that under 2.5. I don't think it goes 2.5 and somebody's getting dropped. Nico's pretty chinny too. So
Yep.
One of them's getting chinned. All right, moving on to the main card. They switched the order, rightfully so. First fight of the night, we got Bo Nickal versus Valentin Woodburn on very short notice. Woodburn is this 5'8", very small, stocky guy. He hits pretty hard. Doesn't have great wrestling, to be honest. Like he has kind of struggled in that in the past. He's coming off extremely confident, but I think he has to be. He knows he's got nothing to lose here. Bo Nickal minus 2,500. I don't recall ever seeing a minus 2,500. That's absolutely
Kayla
ridiculous.
Harrison in PFL. That was about all I've ever seen in mixed martial arts.
Hopefully not against Pacheco when she lost.
No, it was against somebody else. It was like minus 2,200. You have to, at that point, you're just picking around, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So with Bo Nickal, you got 3 things you do. You pass because he's minus 2,500. You play under 1.5 minus 400, or you play first round minus 250. I actually don't mind that okay. Bad. I mean, the minus 400 on under 1.5 rounds indicates he has an 80% chance of pulling that off. I think he has way higher than 80% chance of pulling that off. Like I think he does that 95% of the time, if not more. I mean, he's 4-0, all 4 of the first round. I think Woodburn is a step down from Tresean Gore, and I had Gore to lose under 1.5, so why would I not have this guy to lose under 1.5? So I'm on Bo Nickal for sure. It's just a matter of first round or under 1.5. Otherwise, you're passing. What do you think?
That's it. Minus 250 for the first round, or if you want to be like really out there, plus 325 for the second round if you really think it might get into the first 30 seconds of the second round. Who knows? We don't know much about this Valentine Woodburn or whatever his name is, right? So we don't know much about him. I've seen like him last 2 fights, I think, went to decision, and before he was starching fools, but on the regional circuit. So whatever. Bo Nickal shouldn't. Yo, UFC can't. We were talking about this. UFC can't have their Golden Boy lose to this guy, right? Yeah. Golden Boy is gonna win this fight. Golden Boy will win this fight. It's just how he wins it.
He's going to win it in the first round. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, I'm not disagreeing here. Like, it's a stupid fight. He should win.
All right, moving on. We got Dan the Hangman Hooker versus Jalen Turner. Nothing's flipped here for me. I think Turner wins this fight. I think probably starches him, but maybe they're both conservative. They're both, Dan probably doesn't want to get into that firefight, so maybe he hangs on. I'm not even looking at props for this fight. I'm just taking Turner to win. I don't think Hooker's going to be able to wrestle him for 3 full rounds if that's the game plan. So I just like Turner overall. I do have actually a lot of money on him when I look at the grand scheme of pictures because I think he's on almost all my tickets. You should never have one guy in all your tickets, but Turner is on the majority of them for me for sure. I got to take a look at that now because I don't like them on every one. But majority of my tickets have Turner. I think he's good here. I don't think you need any props. The money line did go up. I hit him earlier when he was like minus 225. I think he's minus 275 now. But still, I got Turner in a striking contest. What do you think?
Minus 275 and him inside the distance is minus 160. I'm not going to risk it for a couple bucks. Like, I like him a little bit more now. I read an article and see some footage of him training with Chimaev and talking about how hard he's been training for this kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. All good stuff to hear from a young fighter. Dan, he's a cool, confident Dan Hooker style, taking interviews with Volkanovski and all his fellow Aussies, New Zealanders. So, yeah, I think Dan's going to retire at some point in the next year or so. I don't think he beats Turner here. I don't, and I feel stronger. You were really strong on it. I was the one teetering, and now Jalen Turner will be part of my night, a big part of my night once I figure out what I'm going to bet on. Most of like how you put your tickets together, right? So.
All right, moving on to the featured fight, rightfully so, Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis. Fun fight. It's going to be, it should be a middleweight banger for as long as it lasts. I mean, obviously, Rob is kind of fallen into this territory where he's become so technical that he's winning all his fights by decision, but I don't think Dricus is really going to allow that to happen too much here because Dricus is just so reckless. He forces this strange firefight, and if he can't get you out of there, then he kind of gasses and leaves himself open. So you got a couple plays here. You got the conservative choice is going to be Robert Whittaker. He should win this fight. He's the better fighter everywhere. Minus 400. It's like it could work maybe on some parlays. It's not great. Or you could do Robert. Or you could do fight doesn't go the distance. I forget what I'm getting on return on that, but it's not bad, and that covers both sides in case
Minus 180.
Yeah, so minus 180 doesn't go the distance, and I think if Dricus is to pull this off, it's got to be by knockout. He's not going to outpoint him. He's not going to take him down and submit him. Robert's got fantastic takedown defense, so that covers your Dricus Hail Mary knockout, and it covers your Robert Whittaker probably should put this guy away if he's that much better of a fighter, like everybody says, which I agree he probably is. Or the third sneaky play is, hey, Robert Whittaker's been decisioning everyone. Robert Whittaker by decision is like plus 300, I think. Something crazy.
Oh, no, plus 200, plus 200.
Okay, plus
Yeah.
200.
Yeah.
Doesn't Robert Whittaker beat everyone by decision? I mean, it's a question you got to ask yourself. I think he's due for a finish personally, but I will never fault someone for playing a Whittaker decision. Never. So those are your 3 plays here. But Whittaker is the pick. What do you think?
I'll parlay Whittaker all day because he's overall the better fighter. The minus 400, I feel safe with, right? I like the decision personally. That's where we differ. I like the plus 200. And I also like the plus over 1.5, minus 150, right? So maybe I could do minus 400 and the over 1.5 because if Rob beats him, it's going to be somewhere in the latter half after Dricus tries all his heart out to get to Rob, and then he finally just gasses and, that kind of thing. So those are my plays on that one. We can just, that's it for that. I got Robert all day. Let's move on to see our co-main event here.
All right, moving on. We got the co-main event, the flyweight title on the line. We got Brandon Moreno versus Alessandro Pantoja, the trilogy. Pantoja's obviously won the first 2. One was on the Ultimate Fighter by submission, didn't even count because it's considered an exhibition fight. And the other was an absolute beatdown decision. It was a decision, but he pummeled him from pillar to post, completely one-sided. But that was 2018. Everybody knows Brandon Moreno is a completely different fighter. He's improved his hands tremendously. His wrestling's pretty good as well. What I see here is a very close competitive fight. I think Pantoja still can win this fight. I think he can win it with leg kicks. There's a chance he gets a submission if he can get it to the ground, but I think Moreno has the better wrestling. So I think it's mostly going to be on the feet. But what I see is just a very, very close competitive fight. And because of that, I'm taking the dog in Pantoja. I'm a Pantoja fan. I think he has a chance to win this fight. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be tight. Don't fault anybody for choosing Brandon Moreno. He is a much better fighter than he was back then. I don't think it's going to look like that other fight where he just got massacred. So I see a competitive fight. I like the underdog. I got Pantoja on a couple tickets. Maybe I'm crazy. I still think he can do it. What do you think?
I got Pantoja. I think, geez, man, Brandon's been in all close fights, and it's his power that's been like winning it for him. And Pantoja actually, I think, has the better striking, to be honest with you. And you know what? Everyone I've listened to all week is like, "Oh my God, this is a new Brandon Moreno." Last time they fought, blah blah blah. It's like Pantoja stayed stagnant or something. Like he didn't get better. Like he got better since their last fight too. You know
I
what I
think,
mean?
sorry to cut you off. I think the only thing that's a little bit of a red flag is he has tired a few times in the third
Right,
round.
right.
And we haven't seen
Exactly.
him go five. We haven't seen him go five.
Well, I'd be happy if you won the first two, and then you can toss up the third one, and then fourth, and then fifth, or whatever. You bank me 2 rounds early on in this fight. Pantoja is going to own Moreno, I think, at least from a perspective of like controlling the octagon. But yeah, I'm going to take Pantoja. Also saw a sub prop at plus 900. Uh, it's
He has
possible.
a chance. He sucked it before.
It's
Pantoja's
possible.
great on the ground.
And for at those odds, you're only putting like 10 or 15 bucks on it anyway. So it's those are my only two sprinkles. Other than that, I can see this going the distance. I can also see a decision on both ends too.
So I have full disclosure. I actually have quite a bit on. Well, I shouldn't say quite a bit, but if Pantoja wins, it's going to be a very good night for me because I have some. My bigger tickets are with Pantoja on it, so I hope he pulls it off. I was smart enough not to put it all on him. I'm not putting all my money on Pantoja, but if he wins, it'll take a good night to a really good night. All right, moving on. We got the main event. We got the featherweight championship of the world. Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodrigues. I think it's going to be a great fight. I do like Yair Rodrigues. He's a fun fighter. He's very exciting, very dynamic. He mixes in spinning attacks, crazy kicks, likes to jump kick and all kinds of weird shit. Obviously, he has that legendary 1 second left upwards elbow to knock out the Korean Zombie. So, I mean, who doesn't like a creative striker? Everybody does. Unfortunately, I do not think he's the best in the world. I don't think he's beating the best in the world. He's great. He's absolutely great. But I don't think he's the best. So I think Alexander is the best right now. I got Volkanovski here. And I'm just trying to see what's the best way for me to play this fight. Volkanovski's minus 400. I think he's safe. I think he's very safe. I trust the guy. So I like him at minus 400, I guess, for parlays. But what I really like is Volkanovski over 1.5 rounds, and you're getting minus 188. So way better value. And I mean, is Volkanovski really first rounding people? No, he's pretty much a decision machine or a very late finish against the Korean Zombie. But like even Korean Zombie, like Zombie's not Yair Rodrigues. He's not Mexican. Rodrigues can take a beating. So I mean, the only way Volkanovski is going to finish this guy is on the ground. That's how I see it. The only way he finishes it is on the ground, and I don't see it being under 1.5 rounds. So I like that play. I like Volkanovski over 1.5 rounds for minus 188. That's my play. That's my pick. What do you like?
Volkanovski. I like Volkanovski over the 1.5, just like we talked about beforehand. I like Volkanovski by decision. I mean, I have a couple books that like do knockdowns. So one of my favorite main event parlays is when I know someone that Volkanovski decisionator. So it's Volkanovski decision, no knockdowns, because I don't see him getting knocked down, and I don't see him knocking down Yair either. So that's it. That's all I have to really say about this fight.
Do you have any odds in front of you by any chance?
I do have these ones, yeah.
What is just to cover both sides, and I know Alexander's not a big finisher by any means, but what is the fight doesn't go the distance?
minus 120. minus 120 each way. If you want to go over 3.5, you're getting minus 160, which isn't terrible either. So, I mean, listen, these guys like, yeah, over 4.5 would have hit on even the fight that he finished against Zombie. So, not him. I mean, yeah, you're
Yeah.
Volkanovski against Zombie. That was a mismatch, but yeah, that's the way I see it. Anyways, man, I got nothing more on these guys.
Yeah. Volkanovski should win this fight unless he gets chinned out of nowhere, which hasn't happened yet. I don't really see how he's losing. I don't think he's going to tap. I think even if he's caught in a submission, he's so tough. I don't think he's tapping, period.
Nope.
So I think you're pretty safe here. In a minute, we're going to show you our chart. It just basically runs down every single fight. It's going to tell you our conservative picks. It's going to tell you our higher risk, high reward picks. I'm going to throw out a shot of some of the props we talked about that we like, just so you guys can refresh it. It's basically it's already telling you everything we already said, but it's just a quick recap, I guess. Other than that, enjoy the fight Saturday. Please please subscribe. We appreciate it. And we'll do the recap Sunday. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.